We've got massive changes coming this patch. Wowzers. Yasuo nerf? Yikes. Oof. Any other relevant memes? Alright. Welcome back to another Hardstuck tier list. It's your boy, me, Relatable Funny Guy. Today we're gonna cover everything you need to know to be just okay for patch 10.12. I can't keep this up. As always, this is the most important patch analysis you'll find out there, because here at Hardstuck, we're not going to help you improve your skills or game experience. We're here to make mediocrity easier, and help everyone have an equally bad time so we all have a level playing field. And isn't that what you really want? There are a bunch of massive changes to cover. Utterly meta-shifting, seismic changes. Downright earth-shattering patch this week. The planet will be destroyed. But I'm not getting paid enough to do your homework for you, and frankly, it's too much work to change my video template for a bunch of different stuff every time. So go read up on it and come back. I'll wait. Oh, I'm just supposed to, tell you to pause? Oh, okay. Is anyone still here? Alright, let's get to it. Here's the list of patch changes for anyone who really needs their handheld. And with that out of the way, let's talk about the top lane. If you can believe it, things have actually gotten even worse in the top lane somehow. While a melee heavy meta naturally brings a resurgence of inevitable counter picks, look at this list of win rates. Revolting. This is my fourth take of this voiceover because I couldn't stop retching on my previous attempts. As a longtime top main, this makes me physically ill. Thanks, Riot, I hate it. We've got some weird niche stuff here near the top of the list like Cho'Gath and Yorick, but they're boring, so who cares? Hey, look who called this change. Imagine that, I'm right about stuff. Tryndamere sitting here with a 52+% win rate in plat and above despite being considered a low elo pub stomp champion. Trin is the favorite pick for anyone who can't distinguish letters or who doesn't have an index finger on their right hand. Right click to victory, baby! That means our broken tier is Quinn and Tryndamere along with Wukong and Maokai again. It's like Riot doesn't even watch my videos. Quinn is rightfully the subject of a lot of hype, as a solid meta counter pick who has received direct and indirect buffs over the last few patches. At a roughly 53% win rate, Quinn is a great matchup against any boomers who still use last patch's broken tier. Come on guys, get with the times. Vayne is a similar pick, whose changes from the previous patch saw her gain almost 2% win rate in both bot and top lanes despite her exclusion from the overall marksman buff. Marksperson buff. Along with Quinn, this is an utter nightmare for tank and juggernaut players, but chances are you're probably abusing a ranged or mage pick anyway, so don't sweat it too much. Have fun, Hashinshin. You'll notice I moved Darius and Fiora down to S tier because of a lot of these factors, but also because I wanted to talk about someone different this time. You could arguably leave Darius and Fiora in the top tier alone and be able to justify it, but that's boring as hell. You can go watch real tier lists for that. Onto the jungle! Nobody's going to top Fiddlesticks on this patch. He's getting the world's smallest nerf coming up, so he's not going anywhere for the next 2 or 3 weeks at least. Imagine that! You give Crowstorm a giant AoE fear and buff his damage 100 times, and somehow he's broken! Abuse this guy, in every role, go crazy. After that, you'll see the top win rates belong to a lot of AP or niche jungle picks, so you can go ahead and scratch those off the list and get to the good stuff. Warwick, Wukong, and Trundle are the go-tos lately, especially for low elo, which you most likely are. Which you definitely are. These champions are easy to execute, and despite Trundle's nerf on 10.11, are going to be the most reliable picks for tilting the enemy laner who's on the longest loss streak. Yeah, we all do it, might as well abuse it, that's what I say. You'll notice Dr. Mundo also has an insanely high win rate right now, which coincides with Fiddlestick's play rate, as the Doctor does not care about the Scarecrow's spookiness, or damage, or anything really. He goes where he pleases, and up along the way. Land Cleaver win game. We'll see you on next year's rework, big guy. And same as last patch, there are a lot of viable junglers here in Season 10, and kinda like support, it depends a lot more on game knowledge and map awareness than mechanics, or champ select, or having a working monitor or less than 1000 ping. Seriously, if you picked Mundo, Fiddle, or Maokai, you could probably survive a nuclear holocaust and still win the majority of your games. Oh man, I hope I didn't just jinx the rest of 2020. Wow, would you look at that? Who was right again? This guy! Annie holds up to a 54% win rate depending on which regions and elos you're looking at. That's right, I've actually been researching this time. Too bad I'm too lazy to list it all or effectively condense that info for you. What were we talking about? Annie. Yeah, Annie is great because if she's fed or just has her flash up, there's not really anything you can do about tanking her full combo to your face and eating her stun every 5 seconds once she has an item or two. Talon is our only surviving member of the broken tier. I'll talk about the others in a second, but there's just something about Talon's roaming ability that always seems to separate him from his counterparts. Zed, Katarina, and LeBlanc have extremely volatile play and win rates despite similar playstyles, but Talon always ends up on top lately. Does anyone else miss his blink silence? I sure do. Good times. As for the rest of our mid laners, Fizz, Diana, and Vladimir are all down around or below 50% win rates despite always being able to snowball any given game. Like I said, I'm actually backing up some of my info this time, like with research and numbers and speaking my opinion as if it were fact. You'll also notice that Syndra is on the list this week after getting hundreds of comments about accidentally leaving her off the list last week. There, you happy, Johnny Sins? Too bad she sucks now, and I probably should have just left her in limbo anyway. Also of note are Cassiopeia and her disgusting win rate in 3 different roles, Twisted Fate's recent resurgence, Ari surprisingly doing very well lately despite the fact that she doesn't really excel at anything in particular, and Galio, who is Galio. Beyond our S tier, consistent solo queue champions are few and far between, so stick to the upper echelon, especially if you're looking for new champions to play. Look at that. Legit advice. Who'd have thought? Bot lane has been subject to a lot of sweeping changes recently, and the only real difference it's actually made so far is pushing Lucian and Tristana out of the meta. Who's left on top? Lovely, it's Ezreal and Yasuo. Neither of their win rates are outstanding, but with their outrageous pick and ban rates, it's hard to argue for anyone else being the cream of the crop right now. Ezreal spikes so much earlier than he used to with his new meta builds, and his Q hitbox violates the Geneva Convention. Combined with the cooldown reset it gives, and he ults twice every time he's back in lane, and all of a sudden you're backing twice as often as you should be. And Yasuo. Oh boy, Yasuo. Obviously, there's an immense chasm between good and bad Yasuos, but God forbid you face a decent one in the bot lane. He pairs well with any support really, or maybe he'll just 1v2 the lane if his support forgot to feed the hamsters that power their router. But wait, you say, Yasuo's getting nerfed? Why yes he is, sorta. He's losing 33 base health, which shouldn't be underestimated, and his wind wall cooldown increases by up to 4 seconds at early ranks. This is slightly offset by a small buff to his passive shield, but guess what? All this does is widen the divide between good Yasuos and bad ones. You can take that to the bank. It's gonna be a lose-lose. Aha, here's a perfect chance to debut our new segment, Hardstuck was wrong again. I said Kai'Sa was definitely going to be the next big thing in bot lane. You win. I was wrong. I'll just go throw myself into the howling abyss. Or maybe you scrubs should just get better at the damn champion. How about that? She got buffed and you still suck. Ha! I'm always right. This segment won't last long. Anyways, bot lane is a little bit top heavy, kinda like mid. There's quite a drop off after the S tier. Like I said last week though, support difference makes the biggest impact in bot lane, as well as whose team can actually get them to late game and keep them safe enough to actually output some damage without being deleted from a team fight like a failed escort mission. I think I'll reuse this as a segue into the support section. I'm so creative. Alright, last week I didn't actually give a whole lot of info on champions because I was busy dropping actual truth on your faces. While everything I said then still applies, we actually do have a pretty well defined top tier right now. Bard has a huge win rate and can impact the whole map if you know what you're doing. And if you can keep your carry from crying about leaving them alone for 5 seconds. He's like a toddler with no concept of object permanence. In a grocery store, he turns away from his mother and immediately thinks he's lost. Like bruh, I just helped kill the enemy jungler and mid, set up Rift Herald and Dragon with vision, grabbed 8 chimes and got back to lane in less than a minute, while you died next to all 3 of the shrines I left you. Ugh, maybe the toddler analogy was even more fitting than I thought. Where was I? Oh yeah, the rest of the tier list. Yuumi is in broken tier because I said so, and Taric has a high win rate despite recent nerfs and accounting for funnel strats in mid lane. As a Taric player, I was concerned about his nerfs, but he seems to be just fine. If you can time your ultimate without your entire team dying right before it activates, you're probably gonna do alright. Just remember to buy some mana and spam your heal and keep resetting the cooldowns. Anyways, the rest of the tier list is basically the same idea as last time. Anything is viable if you're a good player. And you're not a good player, so just mash your face into the keyboard on Nautilus or Maokai or Soraka or something. I don't know. Today on... Alright, this may come across as a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but there are few things in the game right now that tilt me more than this guy. I mean, look at this. Why is his Q invisible? No, that was just like a one-time glitch. Like, what? Why is his Q invisible? It was invisible for the whole game. Why is this champion still in my game like this? Why is his ult invisible? No wonder he just scored a kill. And I mean, look, no. No. And it's up every second and a half in the late game, so he basically gets double attack speed. Look at this. It happens 100 times a game. I'm so tired of seeing this. Get this champion out of my game. That's why I'm saying